I'm having problems when splicing feeds in the IFTTT Advanced RSS training. All personal and outside related feeds validate individually. When combining them and in copy paste the combined feeds into Firefox, it shows up with the yellow box at the top. All posts listed and look good. But then if I test those same splice feeds in a validator, half of them do not validate. Does this mean the splice feeds really are good or not? I've been spending 3 hours per site re-splicing and reburning until I get combinations that validate all the way through the process. What a pain, LOL. All right, so here's where I'm going to be harsh on you. Why the hell are you spending that much time on something like that? Like, to me, that is and Greg, like I said, please bear with me. I'm not picking on you specifically, but we get these kind of posts often and in support and stuff, and that is like, you got to think, what kind of revenue generating activities should you be spending your time on? And is this spending 3 hours trying to get spliced feeds to validate, is that generating you revenue? Or could you be working on higher level, more impactful activities that are going to have a more significant result on your business and your income, your revenue, right? To me, this is complete busy work. Like, in the act of doing stuff, like, there's a difference between doing shit and getting shit done, right? Doing shit is just being busy, but getting shit done is doing stuff that is going to progress your business. It's going to add to your bottom line. And honestly, spending this much time, do the spliced feeds validate? I don't know if they do or not. You know why? Because I never tested it. I could care less. I splice the feeds. In fact, I don't even do that anymore because I trained a VA to do it. Guys, should you be spending your time splicing feeds when you can pay a virtual assistant $3 or $3.50 an hour to do it for you? I mean, think about it. What is your time worth? And I'm speaking to the proverbial you, not just you, Greg, but everybody here listening. Like, think about this, guys. Your time should be spent on revenue-generating activities. For something like taking 3 hours to splice a bunch of feeds together, which you could have paid a virtual assistant $3 or $3.50 an hour to do, you could have spent $10 and had that done. In fact, the thing is that with the spliced feeds, I've never even checked to see if they validate, because I don't care if they validate. As long as the feed is intact and the aggregators and directories that I'm submitting it to accepts it, what the hell do I care whether it validates or not? You know what I mean? Does that make any sense? So as long as the feed will be accepted by the directory or the aggregator, I don't care if it validates, because they're not so restrictive as to not allowing a feed that's formatted 100% correctly. As long as they accept it, I submit it and it's done. And again, I don't even do that anymore. I trained a VA 2 years ago to do that for me. So now every time that we have an advanced RSS splice job to do, I just hand it over to a VA and it gets done. I don't even have to think about it. Okay? So my point is, and the reason why I say I'm being harsh on you is just because, Greg, you're a smart dude, I know, because the questions you ask are always very thought out, very detailed. And the questions now that you're asking in Mastermind are the same way. So I can tell that you're an analytical kind of guy, but you're overthinking and overcomplicating stuff that you don't need to be doing. You should be spending your time trying to figure out how to make more money, not trying to get spliced feeds to validate, if that makes sense. So anyways, that's all I'm trying to tell you, man, is, like, honestly, I've never checked to see if they validate it or not. As long as the aggregators or the directories accept the feed, that's all I care. That's all I care. Okay? He says, I'm still unable to get any Facebook or YouTube feeds to validate, even liking others' Facebook pages and then clicking on the feed in my liked page list. Any tips or an update on those? Hernan, you did the training for the advanced RSS this time around. Is there anything that he needs to know? Is there any changes or updates, anything?
Well, no, not in particular for the feed splicing. Last time we checked, they were validating when you burn them through feed burner. You know, because usually feed burner will take care of all the errors, etc.
That's true.
So that's probably, that has something to do with one of the feeds not being valid from the get-go. If that's the case, Greg, try doing, as I show in the advanced training, when you go into feed burner, you need to turn the smart feed on. You know, that will maximize compatibility, and usually that takes care of the entire validation. But I agree totally with Bradley on this case that the only way that the only reason that why we are splicing feeds and send it over to feed aggregators and whatever is to boost our networks. You know, that's like at the icing of the cake. That's why it's part of the advanced training, and that's not part of the core training, because you can, you know, you can do the core training and you will still be reaping a ton of results.
Yeah.
So do not overthink it. Usually FeedBurner, again, if you activate the smart feed feature that's laid out in the training, that usually takes care of like 99% of the errors. So.
That's true, and you know, I didn't even think to mention that, but that's the truth, because a lot of times those feeds will validate, like especially when you do the smart feed, like what Hernan is saying inside of FeedBurner, it will clear it. For example, if you guys are having trouble in IFTTT, and sometimes there's a hiccup, sometimes there's an issue with your WordPress site, your self-hosted WordPress site, and when you go to try to use an RSS2 recipe in IFTTT, it'll tell your feed is incorrect or incompatible, whatever. It won't. IFTTT will give you a red error message and say, no, it doesn't. This won't work. And sometimes, no matter what it is that you do, your feed just won't work. But then you go burn a FeedBurner feed out of that same feed and go submit that, and then it works. So FeedBurner will correct some errors. Although, again, I don't even care if it validates or not, as long as I can submit it. That's all that matters to me. Okay. As far as the Facebook pages and the YouTube feeds, Facebook page feeds, I don't know. I haven't actually done any of that myself in, God, well over a year probably now. So I don't know about that. But I know the YouTube feeds, I stopped even bothering with YouTube feeds, because ever since they changed the format, which I listed the newer format up here that is supposed to be the format that works, they're just not the same. Used to be that feeds would actually, the YouTube feeds would actually, there were several different versions of the feed, but you could actually get a feed that would output the video embed inside the XML file, which was really cool. But they don't do that anymore. Now it's just a list of links with the titles, and that's it. And so because of that, I don't even bother using YouTube feeds anymore for anything, like at all. However, I know that Lisa Allen has a product that she developed to replace Yahoo Pipes, but it does more than Yahoo Pipes, believe it or not. It's called Rank Feeder, F-E-E-D-R. I don't know if that's available to purchase yet. It's been in beta. I'm a beta member and have been for months. I don't know if she actually launched it yet. I think there was a delay, but that's something that if it's available, I would highly. It's going to cost you a subscription, but it's very, very powerful. There's some really cool things that you can do with Rank Feeder, like create a sticky post. You can take an individual URL from either a video or a single post or whatever and insert it into the feed and cause it to be sticky, which means it'll stay at the top of the feed at all times, so that you can pass relevancy and what they call co-citations through by just being like guilty by association, just by being adjacent to other people's content and that authority content, relevant content. Some of that authority will pass through to your sticky link. So Rank Feeder, if it's not available yet, we'll reach out to Lisa again and find out if when she plans on launching it, if it's not already available, and we'll certainly be promoting that to you guys because I use it myself and it's damn powerful. Okay.